say the Milwaukee Brewers are a ridiculous 61-19 against the Pirates. When you ask why, you say, well, Milwaukee's been better. And that's true for the most part, but you know what? They're not anymore. The Pirates appear to be the better club. They need to show it. Maybe tonight, Neil Walker can lead the way.
Tonight on Root Sports, we've got your ticket to Pirates baseball. A little chilly. Folks at PNC Park going to have to bundle up as we get set for game one of a four-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a Central Division clash. Hi again, everyone, with Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. We'll be joined by Robbie Ince-Mikowski shortly from downstairs. But tonight, A.J. Burnett looks to get back on the winning track. He suffered a loss his last time out, Bob, but it wasn't because he didn't pitch very well.
Well, he's been pitching very well, especially when it comes to strikeouts. Nobody's been able to touch him. A lot of swings and misses, a lot of whiffs. Normally it's his curveball that gets him, but the last couple of games, and especially the very last one, he's been mixing in some changeups. There you see 3 in a row. It's been very impressive for him to do, because all of last year he was a two-pitch guy. And even the first couple of games this season, he might throw 1 or 2 changeups a night, but it's become a very effective pitch for him just the last 2 starts.
Burnett, the National League leader in strikeouts. He has struck out 1/3 of the men he has faced this year. He'll rack up a few more Ks tonight, more than likely against the Brewers, who are 1-9 over their last 10 ball games.
They are really scuffling here in May, and the thing you really look at is their team ERA. You can't have a team ERA over 6 and win any ball games. That's a trend that I'd like to see a lot, and hopefully that'll continue. I want to see some home runs tonight from the Bucks.
So tonight, the Brewers will send Marco Estrada to the mound against A.J. Burnett. Estrada has given up a home run in every game he's pitched this year, including 3 against the Pirates. He's 2-0 at PNC Park, so the Bucks trying to change that as the Pirates mash against Marco. Game 1, Milwaukee and the Pirates. Lineups and first pitch around the corner from PNC Park.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Pretty nice night here in Pittsburgh and at PNC Park. Temperatures a little bit lower than they'd like to be on the 14th of May, but game one should be pretty good between the Brewers and the Pirates. A.J. Burnett, who is 3-3, got a loss against Seattle his last time out, gave the Pirates 7 strong innings, but was on the wrong side of a 2-1 score. A.J. pitched very well, certainly kept the team in the game, gave them every opportunity to win, but the Pirates just haven't given him a lot of run support, especially during the games that he has been on the losing side of. For the Brewers tonight, Ron Roenicke sends the lineup out like this. Norichika Aoki, the right fielder, will lead off. Gene Segura, the shortstop, National League Player of the Week with 500 with a pair of home runs and 5 runs batted in. He's also tied with Starling Marte for 16 multi-hit games on the season so far. They lead the league. Carlos Gomez, Aramis Ramirez, Yuniesky Betancourt, then Jonathan Lucroy, and Pine Richland High School's Blake Lally playing first base tonight. Logan Schaefer in left field, no Ryan Braun. And Marco Estrada doing the pitching, batting 9th and facing A.J.
Let's take a look at A.J.'s numbers, brought to you by Chevrolet. The big one there, 66 Ks. That's pretty impressive. Just 49 innings. He's getting older, and he seems to be getting better. Got that big curveball going as usual, and as we talked about in the open, he's adding a pretty decent changeup to the mix. He would just show that pitch just 2 or 3 times a game last year. His last start, I think I saw 4 changeups from like the first 8 pitches.
Now defensively tonight, in the outfield, Starling Marte in left field, Adam McCutcheon in center. Travis Snyder gets another start in right field tonight. At third base, Pedro Alvarez comes off the Mets series where he really swung a good bat. Clint Barmas had a homer yesterday. Neil Walker back in there at second base. Gabby Sanchez at first, and Michael McHenry behind the plate. Walker activated from the disabled list today. He had the laceration in his right hand, 6 big stitches. Went down to Altoona, played a few games there, and he's ready to go. Roster move today where Walker activated and the Pirates returning Jordy Mercer to AAA Indianapolis.
Jordy certainly did a heck of a job while he was here. You know that it won't be long and we'll see him back. Really, I think, proven to everybody that he can handle things at the big league level, but he had an option. He was the guy that they set down.
Look closely at that right hand. You can see the black bandage that Neil has where he was cut in St. Louis when he was trying to break up a double play, and Cardinals shortstop Pete Kozma came down on him and unintentionally spiked him. Very, very deep wound he had. In fact, Neil showed me a picture on his telephone of the wound before it was stitched up, and kind of wish I didn't see it.
Something you don't want to see.
Ron Roenicke, skipper of the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers and Pirates, first of 4, getting set to get underway. Aoki at the plate. And A.J.'s first pitch of the ball game. This is outside for a ball. .51 degrees the game time temperature.
Like it's first week of April again.
Yeah. There's the 1-0. Aoki will take a strike. Adrian Johnson calling the balls and strikes nice and loudly. Had to go dig that one out of the cedar chest. 1-1 pitch. Aoki goes the other way. And that's a fair ball. It's going to roll into the corner for Marte around first and into second base with his 7th double of the season is Norichika Aoki, and the leadoff man in scoring position for Milwaukee.
Aoki does that a lot. He shows bunt early in a ball game and tries to get the third baseman in, and then he just works to slap the ball by him. And here he elevated it enough that the third baseman really had nothing to do with it. Kept it fair, got it into that corner. That basically is what he tries to do. Hit a ball just fair down that line. Not every at bat, but an awful lot of them. Just slap it the other way.
Here is Gene Segura, the young shortstop. has been very, very good for the Brewers. And he shows bunt. Here's strike one.
Brewers always seem to be able to come up with hitters. And he's now looks like he's the next in line.
Had his first career 4-hit game Saturday against the Cincinnati Reds. He has been racking up the multi-hit games, 16 of them to lead the league along with Starling Marte. They are tied. And he shows bunt again and pulled the bat back, takes ball one. Breaking ball from AJ.
Nobody out. He wants to move Aoki over to third base, even if he has to get thrown out doing it. But if he gets a bunt down close to the third baseline, he can not only move the runner, but get a base hit. He's got great speed.
Pressure on the Pirates early after the leadoff double by Aoki.
And Alvarez can't break too soon to come get that bunt either, because if it's a bluff, if he's not bunting, and he breaks too early, he opens up the third base bag to a steal.
1-1 pitch. Segura takes ball two. Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. National League leaders in multi-hit games. Mentioned Marte and Segura at the top. Shin-Soo Choo of the Reds right behind him. Carlos Gomez of Milwaukee on the list as well. Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. So 3 of the top 4 in multi-hit games in the National League in this ballpark for the next 4 days. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Talk about AJ's strikeout numbers, 66. That leads the league. And he also leads the league in strikeouts per 9 innings. 12.1 strikeouts per 9. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Segura off the glove of Burnett. And everybody's going to be safe.
That was a base hit, kind of a lucky hit. See Walker, he's playing up the middle. That's an easy ground ball right to Neal. But, I've said this probably 100 times, that when you're out there and there's the ball, it's right there, you see it, it's so tempting to try and make that play. If you are going to make the attempt, you better get it. Better just not knock it somewhere. Most of the time, if it's a deflection, you're going to get nobody out.
Carlos Gomez is a guy that has been off to a great start this season as well, hitting .371, 6 homers. First and third and nobody out. Top of the first inning. And there goes Segura for second base. McHenry throws down, and Segura has stolen his 11th base of the year.
That great jump. There wasn't a whole lot Fort was going to do with that one. You'll see how many steps he has before AJ's front foot hits the dirt. That's what gives you that big jump. Slow delivery.
Well, the Brewers have set up shop. Second and third, nobody out. Putting on a threat here in the top of the first inning. Gomez reached for that one. Gomez leads the National League in batting average. Slugging percentage at .645. Leads the league in total bases with 80. Offensively, been outstanding. The National League Player of the Week from the 15th of April to the 21st that week. Hit .500 that week, went 9 of 18 with 2 home runs over 6 games. Two ball, 1 strike pitch to Gomez. Again, out on the front foot. Definitely could use another strikeout here. 12.1 strikeouts per 9.
That's definitely what AJ has going for him when he gets in these situations. A lot of pitchers that aren't strikeout pitchers, they have to just take their medicine Ball gets put in play. They got to trade and out for a run. AJ, being a strikeout guy, just because he has a guy at third and less than 2 outs, doesn't mean that that run's going to come in, because he has the big strikeout pitch.
And ground ball toward the middle, and Barmes with the stop and no play. 1-0 Milwaukee as Aoki walks home.
Yeah, that's too bad. He didn't get the strikeout, but he was unable to trade and out for a run either. So now he's right back basically in that same situation. Runner at third, nobody out. Barmes able to keep the ball out of the outfield. Temporarily, at least, he has saved a run with that glove work. AJ not happy. He just slammed that Rosenbach down behind the mound. He does not like the way this first inning is going, and he's on the verge of having his pitch count elevated right in the very beginning. He's throwing 13, doesn't have an out yet.
Brewers working on a really big inning, unless Pirates can find a way to shut it down here.
And another fast guy at first base.
Yep. This is not the way that the Pirates wanted this series to begin. They know that Milwaukee's had their number. The numbers are documented, but it's time to turn things around. And Clint Hurdle certainly knows about that. He has been very disappointed with the way the Pirates have pitched in Milwaukee, where the Pirates have had a tougher time. And wants to change a lot of things about their approach on the hill against this ball club. One nothing Brewers, nobody out. Top half of the first inning. Here is Aramis Ramirez. Ball and no strikes.
You know, this really doesn't make any difference as long as AJ pitches well tonight. But just thought I'd point this out. Normally this year in the first innings, he's been throwing about a lot of 94s up there. His fastball is a little bit slower tonight than it's been in his other ball games. That last pitch at 92. Now that's not bad, but at least in the early innings, first 2 or 3 innings, he's been throwing a little bit harder than that. His average, in fact, is I think 92.7 or something in that area. He's out. He's out.
Oh! Fielding Culbreth called him safe.
Good move that time by AJ. AJ is very slow to the plate, easy to run in. He gets a good jump, but he's got a nice quick move. And you can see Gomez with a little flinch. Oh, barely got the hand back.
Just got back.
Great call by the umpire.
Fielding just coming back off a 2-game suspension. McHenry will not make a throw. A strike is called. And it's stolen base number 8 on the year for Carlos Gomez.
They got a good pitch to throw on. It was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball right at the knees. Yeah, great pitch to throw on. Would have been a little higher than that, but still got a fastball. You can see the look on Michael's face after he dropped that. He was not happy with himself.
1-1 pitch. Over the outside corner for strike 2. Ramirez asking Adrian Johnson where that was located.
Very borderline. Watch the Range Resources strike zone, and you can see that it was just nicking the edge, if anything.
Brian O'Nora at second, Bill Walke at third to go along with Johnson and Culbreth.
That was not a good pitch by AJ. I'm sure he's upset with himself. Again, he's in that position where he needs a strikeout, and he just hung a breaking ball right down the middle and got away with it. That is not a strikeout pitch right there.
Dangerous pitch to a guy like Ramirez.
Yeah, he got away with it. That's about the best you can say about that one. He's going to throw pitch number 18 already.
2 struck him out.
There's a 94. Reached back out a little extra on that
one. Strikeout number 67 on the year.
How far this ball is outside. Ramirez chased after it. Just a 4-seam fastball. You saw the the grip. Nice shot of it with the AGH cam.
Well, one down, runners at second and third. Ramirez, first strikeout victim. He's obviously not too pleased about that. And the helmet felt it. Yuniesky Betancourt, strike one. Betancourt, 256 hitter. He has 8 home runs. 24 runs batted in. It has been a nice surprise for the Brewers offensively. He's been able to deliver some production. Filled in at third base admirably and produced while Ramirez was on the disabled list. Strike two. If you tuned in a couple of minutes late, Aoki had the leadoff double. And Segura base hit, stole second. Gomez an infield single. An RBI, his 17th RBI, as Aoki scored from third on that. Now second and third after the steal of second by Gomez. 0-2 pitch to Betancourt. Hey, struck him out. 2 down. AJ trying to limit the damage here in the first inning.
He put himself in a position where he needed these strikeouts. And he's got them. 2 big chases, one on a fastball. Here comes the hook. And there's the chase. Look at Betancourt, how far out in front he is. All of his weight had already transferred way out on the front foot. He was just reaching for that ball, trying to make any kind of contact to stay alive.
Here is the catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy down in the order. He had been batting cleanup.
The play by Barnes, keeping that ball out of the outfield, looking big now.
Yeah, kept Segura at third base. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's inside. That's our off-center camera, our true center camera that takes you right down the middle. Just at this time of the day, it's a little bit challenging. Troy's working on it. He's just checked under the hood.
That's a sun shield there.
Change the oil. But this time of the day, the sun makes it challenging up there on Mount Troy. So we've got our off-center camera for now until the sun cooperates. 2-0 pitch to Lucroy. It's there for a strike. Lucroy was a member of Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. One of the backstops. True center's back. On the corner for strike two.
And just like Ramos, Lucroy giving a little questioning look. Both those pitches fairly close to the same spot, just nicking the outside corner. There
2 balls.
See, number 4. That was the last strike call.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Burnett. Lucroy almost bought it.
That was the Betancourt pitch. Got him. AJ doesn't need a strikeout right now. But what do you think he's trying to get?
Strikeout.
Yeah. When he puts a 2 up there in that strike column, he wants to get that out without the ball being put in play.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch from AJ. In the air to right. Snyder will handle it. And in spite of the fact the Brewers had 3 straight hits to lead off the ball game, Burnett limits the damage to a single run. He did throw 27 pitches, however. It's 1-0 Brewers after half an inning. limiting the Brewers to just 1 run, so 1-0 Milwaukee lead. The lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Starling Marte and Travis Snider 1-2, then McCutchen. Gabby Sanchez playing tonight at first base. Neil Walker back in the lineup, switch hitter, batting 5th. Pedro Alvarez had a great series in New York. 6 for 11 with a homer and 4 runs batted in. Michael McHenry behind the plate. Russell Martin getting closer to coming back. Clint Barmas in the 8th spot. And A.J. Burnett batting 9th and facing right-hander Marco Estrada of Milwaukee.
Estrada's numbers on the year, ERA way up there. Look at that opponent batting average almost at 300. The pitching so far has not been the Brewers' strong point. I'd like to see us get some balls over the fence against Estrada. We were able to accomplish that in Milwaukee. Not much of a wind tonight, but what breeze there is, just lazily blowing out toward the left field area.
The National League leader in hits, Starling Marte, is 48 to lead the league.
And this is the inning he likes to get a lot of men.
Yeah.
First inning.
Well, as a result, he is tied for the league lead in runs scored with 29, tied with Shin-Soo Choo of Cincinnati. Coaching third base tonight is Rick Sofield. And over at first is Dave Joust. Nick Leyva, the regular third base coach, away for a few days due to some personal reasons. So Dave Joust, who's normally in the dugout, longtime baseball man out of Amherst College many years ago. Rick Sofield over at third tonight. And there is a ball hit into the gap. Oh my, what a play. What a play by Gene Segura to retire the speedy Starling Marte.
There's only 1 or 2 shortstops in baseball. Throw Marte out on that. Look at the smile he's got.
That normally is a base hit for Marte, but Segura just showing us why that he probably is going to be the long-time answer at short for the Brewers.
Strong one-hop throw, very accurate. Marte had to be shocked to see the ball get there. He's so used to seeing anything that an infielder on the left side has to go into that hole and get it, being a base hit.
Snider swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. In the first inning, he's been almost automatic getting on base. It took a great play like that to keep him off. Segura playing up the middle against Snider. So there's a lot of room on the left side for Travis. He went that way yesterday in a hit and run in New York. Perfectly executed with Marte at first base and on the move. Trying to spray his hits around a little bit with 7 to center and 6 to right. Last year, pretty much everything was either to center or right. Didn't have much going the other way. Jay Bell, Jeff Branson, the hitting coaches. Branson in the dugout tonight.
I think the Brewers, of all the teams we play, probably commit more to the shift than anybody on all the players. They will move their infield all around, move the outfield even. And not just shade them like everybody does, but actually move the outfielders right on top of the line, up in a gap. Right now they're just kind of shaded. Especially, I've seen it with Aoki.
Right fielder. Not quite straight up in the outfield for Milwaukee with the center fielder Gomez. Just a shade or two to right center field for the left-handed hitting Travis Snider.
You'll see even with right-hand hitters, they'll do the same thing in the infield, which is fairly rare.
Snider hanging in there.
McCutchen gets up with nobody on. You'll see the infield. So everybody move over to the left side. That's just the way they like to run it. And they don't just shade their second baseman up the middle. They put him right up the middle, even move him over to the second base side.
It's popped up, twisting into foul ground, and that'll be on top of the Pirate dugout. Jump up into the seat. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Milwaukee. Second batter of the game for the Pirates, Travis Snider. A.J. Burnett, 27 pitches in the first inning. And he's getting a little bit of a break right now. Strike 3 call. Snider down on strikes as Estrada got a pitch.
Long at bat, but it didn't go Snider's way. A little breaking ball. Maybe just caught that outside corner. Now McCutchen is stepping in and doing a nice hand, and Yuniesky Betancourt is on the shortstop side. That's the second baseman moved away over.
So 3 infielders on the left for McCutchen, who will take ball 1. So Estrada actually missed his last start. He was bumped back a couple of days so he can get some more bullpen work in. His last start prior to this on the 5th of May. And he walked 5 different Cardinals in that game and said he felt lost afterward. So the Brewers put him on the shelf for an extra couple of days, had him do some side work, so he feels much better now. 1 ball and 2 strikes to McCutchen.
A lot of times it can be those extra days off on the arm that mean more than anything.
And Rick Kranitz, pitching coach, did some extra work with him in the bullpen. Got him prepared for this start. There's the 1-2. McCutchen crushes it, and he hooked it foul. Look at that one go.
Just short of the upper deck. Hit on the club level.
Yeah, you better see if you can find it. Oh, get out there in a hurry.
Yeah.
To the left side, backing up Ramirez. Long throw. Just barely gets McCutchen. 3 up and 3 down for the Pirates in the first. We're ahead of the second. Brewers 1, Pirates nothing. A.J. Burnett, that's up for 3 hits and a run in the first inning, but talk about velocity on his pitches, Bob.
Well, we're going to show you exactly how changing speeds can destroy a hitter's timing. You can see the way the pitch is split apart. Now watch the contact of the fastball right over home plate. Even that was a little late, but look where the changeup is. Look where the curveball is. They are not even close to being in the hitting zone, and the bat is already gone. And that's why he gets so many chases. And also the curveball, you saw where the location was on that. Not only is the bat going to be way out in front, when that blue dot, by the time that got to the catcher's glove, that's going to be shin high. But it's more really the speed differential than it is the movement of the baseball that messes the hitters up. And I thought that graphic, that video really showed it. Look how quick the bat has to get out there just to make contact with the yellow dot, which is the fastball. The changeup and the curveball nowhere close to being at the strike zone yet. That's what messes up the hitters.
1-1 to Blake Lally.
So if you commit soon enough to where you can make contact with a fastball, you can see you got no chance of hitting the off-speed stuff.
That's a great looking graphic, isn't it?
Oh, I loved it. I think it's a great illustration of how the ball comes out of your hand, and you can see it about a third of the way there where the fastball starts separating itself from the off-speed pitches.
And Lally out of Pine Richland High School, born in Gibsonia, strikes out to start the second inning.
There's the curveball. There's the swing, goes through. Ball's not there yet. Strike 3.
Just out front. Again, the example of what Bob's talking about when he gets those chases.
A lot of pitches in that first inning. Needs to do something about it in this inning. Lally, who's hitting 150. Schaefer up there now, 162, and then the pitcher's spot. So you want to get through these three hitters real quick. Get the pitch count back where you want to, get back in the dugout. Was able to get Lally out fairly quickly. Now he needs to do the same thing with Schaefer and Estrada.
Pretty hard hit ground ball by Logan Schaefer, who was out in front of this one.
Yep, got that ball off the end of the bat, it looked like.
Strike 2. And if he's not getting a chase, a lot of times what we just saw happens with foul balls, with batter looking for one pitch and getting another.
With 2 strikes right now, he's just trying to protect. He's thinking, okay, I want to be quick enough to make contact with the fastball, but probably the left field.
That's right into the glove of Burnett. 2 gone for the Brewers.
If you're thinking about not pulling the fastball, about waiting long enough to where you're going to hit the fastball but hit it the other direction, hit it, say, down the left field line for a left-hand hitter, then you won't be way out in front of the slow stuff. And that's the 2-strike approach, where basically you're just not trying to pull anything hard. So when you do see the soft stuff, your bat's not already come and gone by the time the baseball gets there.
Here is Estrada. He's 3 for 14 on the season. 2 RBIs, a 214 average.
I think Warren Spahn said it best. Baseball is all, or hitting is all about timing. Pitching is all about destroying that timing.
There's 2. For A.J. Burnett, it's a lot about strikeouts. Estrada has struck out 6 times in his 14 at-bats. Protect the plate on a 2-strike pitch. It stays 0-2 to Marco Estrada.
A.J. working on, I think, 11 pitch innings so far. You can end it right here with this pitch. And
get that quick inning you were talking about.
He'll be under 40. He'll be sitting at 39. Here comes 39. Fouled it off. 40 will be all right. He'll still be a little bit deeper in his pitch count than he wants to be after 2 innings, but it won't be way out of hand. End it with this pitch. Got it.
So Estrada strikes out. AJ gets 2 more. With an inning and a half, Brewers with a 1-0 lead.
Number 2, I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. Well, Neil Walker completed his rehab stint in Altoona at AA, and yesterday the pitcher for the Curve was Jameson Taillon, one of the up-and-comers in the Pirate system, and he was just fantastic yesterday. Through 6 innings, he struck out 8, gave up just 2 hits, and I asked Neil Walker about playing with Taillon yesterday, just 21 years of age. He said, hey, you would never know this guy was just 21 years old when you get a look at the stuff that he has. He is cool, he's calm, he's composed, he's got 4 pitches, not afraid to use any of them at any single time, and he is one of the gems of this Pirate system. And Neil Walker, very impressed with what he saw from Taillon yesterday. So it's looking pretty good, Bob and Tim, when you look at Garrett Cole and Jameson Taillon and what the Pirates have coming up on the mound.
Yeah, I think Jameson was also excited to pitch in front of his mom, Christy, who flew in from Houston for Mother's Day, and he wanted to put on a good show for her, too. And he did. So Gabby Sanchez will lead off for the Pirates. Neil Walker, Pedro Alvarez to follow. Now here's some interesting numbers on Estrada against the Pirates. 6 starts and 9 games. He's 3-0. 2 of those wins have come here at PNC Park. His last time out against the bunch was at Miller Park on the 30th of April. He got a no decision. The Pirates looking to hand Estrada his first loss against them tonight. To come back to do it. Two-0 pitch. Strike 1. Three balls, 1 strike. And the pitch from Estrada is strike 2. Gabby thought it might have been a tick low, but Adrian Johnson rings up the strike, and the count is full.
This is not a pitch you want to hit on a 3-1 count. You're keyholing for something right down the middle. You're leading off an inning, too. So, if you get ball 4, heck, take it. Start the inning off with a base runner. It was definitely a worthwhile take.
Sanchez in the air to right center. Gomez porting out number 1. So Estrada's retired the first 4 Pirates.
fifth, second baseman, number 18, Neil Walker.
Now the Pittsburgh kid getting a good reception from the hometown crowd. Back activated off the disabled list today. Jordy Mercer heading back to Indianapolis as the other end of that roster move. And the Pirates happy to have his bat back in the lineup, certainly, especially from the left side. Ball and one strike.
Estrada had Neil way out front on that pitch. That was another example of destroying that timing.
One pitch. That is inside. 2 balls and a strike. Walker and Brewers first baseman Blake Lally, teammates at Pine Richland. Lally a little older than Neil. He graduated 2001. He was a senior when Neil first started. Swing in the air to left. Caught by Schaefer. 2 out. Effective start so far for Marco Estrada.
It's right here.
It does. Well, Pedro.
You said Pedro's hot. Had a
great series in New York. Really did.
Oh,
the game-winning RBI yesterday.
Look at the parrot. He's got a spider. I hope he doesn't come up here. I'm not liking that. Not liking that. Dash, lock the back door.
Yeah,
the door.
Keep him out. You don't want him.
I don't want to see him.
Quickly, 2 strikes on Alvarez. Bob doesn't like spiders very much. Not a big fan.
Big ones like that.
Yeah. Not a big fan. She's not a big fan either.
No, I don't think so.
Alvarez down on 3 pitches. So 6 up, 6 down for Marco Estrada. We'll head to the third. Brewers 1, Pirates nothing. At 7:05 in an interleague game. The first 25,000 fans take home an A.J. Burnett replica camo jersey bobblehead thanks to Xfinity. Plus, get to the game early for Team Photo Fest. Fans get to pose with their favorite players on the field. For tickets, visit Pirates.com. When you come to Photo Fest, you can enter early through the Trib Total Media home plate gate starting at 4 p.m. Heading to the top of the third inning. It's a 1-0 Brewers lead with Robbie Ince-Mikowski and Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. Happy you're along watching the Bucks with us tonight. Top of the order for the Brewers, Norichika Aoki. Aoki doubled and scored the game's only run in the first. And Aoki rips it into the glove of Sanchez. 1 out. And importantly, that out came on 1 pitch for AJ.
And there was no trying to flick the ball the other way on that one. Aoki looking for something that he could pull this time. And there was no taking, no trying to go deep in the count. He just wanted to be aggressive. Like he was hunting fastball. And Gabby got a snow cone on a cold night. Although I have to admit that it doesn't feel as cold tonight as I thought it was going to be. It's actually not.
Well, 51
not
at game time. It's going to dip a little. Going to get down in the upper 40s. And what was that all about?
Well, you got Segura, stepping out. I don't know if he called time or not. Oh, that's what happened. He looked up at that sun and couldn't see anymore.
Yeah, but there was no time call.
No.
Why couldn't have Burnett thrown a strike right there?
Well, he could have, but I wouldn't have thrown it either. It's a big distraction. You're in your wind up, and a lot of times you're not looking in. You're kind of looking away a little bit. You look back and you see the hitter running away, and your chances of throwing a strike there are maybe 50-50 after that point. So just start over.
It's like having a 10th player out there with that sun.
Maybe he had a hard curveball in mind. Can't see it.
Gotta get some sunglasses. Yeah, that's tough. Not gonna hit anyway.
That's why Rock says round ball, round bat. You never know what's going to happen. Those last 2 hits. Aoki goes up there, hits a bullet line drive, and gets nothing out of it, and out. Segura gets the bat just sawed off in his hand, and it's a base hit. Just about where the bat turns colors, that's where it hit him. Drove it right toward the sun.
Looked more like he was just trying to protect himself, but he's got a hit, and he's now the National League leader in multi-hit games. 2 for 2 tonight. He's got 17 multi-hit games.
I'm gonna have to get him to paint that building green or something. Batter's eye. This time of day, hang a big scrim down in front of it.
I don't know if it's only going to be for a short time of the year when that's a problem, right? Yeah. Right now. It's probably okay when the Brewers are here.
It'll only be for a moment or so.
There goes Segura.
No chance.
And he's got his second stolen base. So they are running on AJ. Michael has not had as much luck throwing runners out as Russell Martin has.
Look how far he is before the foot hits the ground. McHenry has no chance of throwing anybody out.
One out and a man at second base. Gomez, 1-0 pitch. That's inside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Change-up, I think. We talked about that. Start of the ball game, that we're seeing a few more of those. Not necessarily tonight, but in the last 2 games, we've seen AJ really go to that pitch.
Two and one.
A fastball that time. Let's take a look at the changeup numbers that AJ's been throwing and see game by game how it's been advancing. That last Wednesday, 15% of his pitches were changeups. That's amazing. Or 1%, 3%. That's what we've seen from AJ since he's been a Pirate.
Breaking balls in for a strike. Buckled the knees of Gomez.
Time for strikeout number 5.
That's what he's looking into out there. Reflection off the building. Bouncer wide of third base.
You can see the shadows of the umpire and the hitter, Gomez in this instance, on the wall back behind home plate. Watch him. Is he on the wall back to see their shadows? See the shadows of the umpire?
It's like
just to the right of where it says PNC Park on the wall. That's how bright the glare is that it's casting a shadow.
Like
that's pretty amazing.
Standing in front of a projector screen, you know. So 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Watch the wall. Well, here, I'll draw a little bit better. The wall right here, when they start moving around, you can see. I think maybe I lost my opportunity. The glare is starting to go away, but just before that, you could see.
Runner takes off and it's fouled back. So Segura trying to take another base on Burnett.
If you've DVR'd the game, go back another hitter or so, and you can see those shadows. Promise you.
I'll wait for a break though, because do it a little later. You don't want to miss anything right here.
It's a DVR. You can come back. You can see the same thing. Oh, there it is. See the shadows? See them on that wall?
We DVR'd for you.
There's a DVR. I didn't know that the Gypsies have their own DVR down the truck.
They do.
That is amazing. But that is some kind of glare this afternoon. You check it. Did he go? Good block by the Fort. Watch the bat. How far did it get out there? Yeah, that could have gone either way for sure. Anytime you see the head of the bat get to the front edge of the plate, sometimes you'll get that call, sometimes you won't. That's the. I think that's the. If it doesn't get out there, you're never going to get a strike call. The front part of the plate. That's what I always look at.
Pickoff attempt. Segura back. Well, the Pirates pitchers this series can't fall asleep on the base runners for the Brewers because they will take that extra base. They'll at least try to do it. Put pressure on the defense, put pressure on the catcher. There's the 9th pitch from Burnett to Gomez. This will be the 10th coming.
54th of the game. Well, basically, he's used half his pitch allotment to get to this point.
All right, at Barmes keeps Segura put at second base.
Also a pick by Gabby.
Time now for The Whiff, brought to you by Head and Shoulders, now with Old Spice. Aramis Ramirez was the first strikeout victim tonight.
He's going to see a fastball here right now. Aramis didn't like that call, kind of messed up his entire at bat. He's still thinking about it. Ended up chasing a fastball about 6-7 inches off the plate. It was speaking of Head and Shoulders, it was cold enough this morning. I expected to see some white flakes.
Glad you didn't. Didn't put your shovel away, did you?
Been using it on like potting soil and stuff like that.
1-0 to Ramirez. Came off the disabled list on the 3rd of May. Had a sprained left knee. Missed 23 games. Former Pirate, former Cub. Likes the Central Division, apparently. Segura off of second base behind Burnett.
Nobody holding him on at all. There's 2 outs.
And Ramirez Clubs one deep to right center field. McCutchen back. He leaps and he makes a fantastic catch. Oh, what a play by Andrew McCutchen. Absolutely outstanding as McCutchen hung with it the whole way and makes the leaping grab. For their first hit against Marco Estrada. But Andrew McCutchen, a great defensive play, taking away possible extra bases from Ramirez.
Long run. Not a lot of offense so far tonight. This could be a nice play. He's gone to a much heavier, stiffer glove this year. In fact, it's made of gold.
He's a gold glover.
Great job. That's why he won that gold glove, making plays like that. Nice hand, too, as he got to the dugout. The crowd, all in the lower seating bowl, all got on their feet. Very appreciative of basically the face of the franchise now, Andrew McCutchen.
Pirates need to help out A.J. and get him some runs here. Got to get a hit first. McKemmer hitting .244. He's got 3 homers. Yesterday didn't have a hit, but was hit by a pitch. 0 for 3 against the Mets. Good time for the Mets to get hot, by the way. Down on strikes.
Who are they playing?
They're playing St. Louis. And they're up 3-2 in the second, but the Mets today went out and got a new center fielder. Signed Rick Ankiel, who's in the lineup tonight.
He's in the 2-strike mode, and you can see late on the fastball, thinking, okay, don't be too quick, don't get out in front, stay back, stay back. You start telling yourself that, and remember that video that we showed you earlier about the different locations of the balls. That gives you a really look. A lot of times when you say fastball's 91, curveball 79, what's that really mean? Well, that video you could see the actual locations of the ball. It means about 5-6 feet. That's a big difference.
Big separation.
So, I mean, that's tough to be able to cover both those with one swing. That's destroying the hitter's timing. You're able to throw all those off-speed pitches for strikes.
Well, Clint Barmes delivers the first base hit for the Pirates, and Barmes has been swinging a good bat lately. Had 2 hits yesterday, including a home run, and his first at bat here tonight results in a base hit.
One more look at that video as A.J. gets ready to step in. You see the velocity numbers of A.J. Burnett. But this really shows you what those velocity numbers mean. Look how the separation, how quick that yellow dot, the fastball, gets there, and look how far behind the pink and the blue is trailing, or green, maybe that's what that color is. And that's the difference in real life when you're out there standing in that batter's box. It's not really mile per hours or time. It is the distance that ball has traveled toward the strike zone that you're trying to defend.
That will square. He'll take a strike. Love the ball speed graphic. How do the Gypsies come up with this stuff? Double question mark. It's actually Bob's idea. Baseball's thinking man.
No, the Gypsies are geniuses. That's why. They are geniuses.
Bob lays it out for him and says, I don't care how you do it, just do it. Burnett gets this ball foul. It is a great idea, though. First time we've seen it in action tonight. You can tweet us here in the booth at Root Sports Pit on Twitter. Hashtag Bucks Booth. No time like the present. He is tweeting us now at Root Sports Pit. Don't forget the hashtag Bucks Booth. Oh and 2 to Burnett. AJ gets the bunt down. Ramirez will throw on to first. The Betancourt covering. So sacrifice for Burnett, his third of the season, and the putout goes 5-4, and over to second base. Farmas now representing the tying run. Here's tonight's Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Pirates all-time leaders in OPS among leadoff hitters. Max Carey, 1925. The Quail, Bill Verdon in 1956. Freddie Sanchez in 2005. John Cangelosi in 87. And Starling Marte now on that list. 906 OPS. On base plus slugging. Marte was robbed of a base hit on a terrific play by shortstop Gene Segura in the first inning. He went hard to his right in the hole, picked it, planted his back foot, and fired a rocket over to first base to just get Marte. Two balls and no strikes to Starling. People taking notice of Starling Marte as he gets around the league a little bit. Some folks from New York had a chat with over the weekend, very impressed with him. Seems like that's the way it is everywhere we're going now, where people are seeing him play for the first time in person.
Well, we got to see it a little bit toward the end of last year after he got called up. But the tools are just amazing. How fast he can run, the great arm. He showed us the power right away. Hit the home run first pitch he ever saw. So I think our expectations much higher than around baseball because we'd already got a little peak. Had a great winter ball, good strong spring training, and now he's turned it into a fine start to the season. And certainly one of the big reasons the Pirates have gotten off to such a good start. Pirates 21-16 going into the game tonight.
It's 2.5 behind the division leading Cardinals. Half game behind Cincinnati. And Marte belts it to left field. Schaefer going back for it. He'll make the catch. And that'll do it for the Pirates. No runs, a hit, a man left. Up to the fourth, 1-0 Milwaukee.
You missed it. The Chicago Cubs have locked up another one of their young stars to a long-term contract. This time it is first baseman Anthony Rizzo. 7 years, $41 million. In addition to that deal, also 2 club options at the end of that contract. Rizzo was acquired from the Padres in January of 2012 in a 4-player trade. He's hitting .280 with 9 homers and 28 RBIs. Tim and Bob, they lock up Starlin Castro last August, and now Rizzo here for the Chicago Cubs. A couple of young guys to long-term deals.
Yeah, that's right. Castro, of course, the anchor of the infield for the Cubs, and now he's got a guy to throw to at first base all the time, and Rizzo's going to be there a while.
A couple of very good young shortstops along the lake. Edmund Tell, no tails.
Did you let him borrow that outfit for tonight?
Well, that's a nice looking outfit.
It was nice of you to loan it out.
Black and gold Santa.
Betancourt in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. He struck out swinging in the first inning. He's 0 for 1.
Segura, looks like the longtime answer, shortstop in Milwaukee.
And a ground ball to short. Barmas, quick release, and he's got Betancourt for the first out of the Brewers' 4th.
Castro, is he 22?
Still young, yeah. He's
with the Cubs, just down the interstate from Milwaukee. And, those are 2 franchises. They're in pretty good shape at that position for years to come.
But Jonathan Lucroy flying to right field in the first. Jay Burnett deals high. Burnett 2-4 against Milwaukee in 9 career starts. He went 0-2 in 3 starts last season. He's lost 4 of his last 5 decisions against the Brewers. Lucroy to right center. And Snyder there. And there are now 2 out as Lucroy is now twice flying to right. On the next Sunday Night Classics, we go back to the Neil Walker football days at Pine Richland as he and his Rams battle future NFLer Paul Posluszny and the Hopewell Vikings in the 2002 Whitfield Finals. Hear the story retold on Sunday Night Classics. It's future phenoms on the field, Sunday at 8 on Root Sports. That was a classic, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It'll be fun to go back and watch that one again.
Guy at the plate probably had a rooting interest at the time, even though he was out of school. Graduated from Pine Richland in 2001, Blake Lally.
That one way out of the strike zone, got the chase.
Had a little movement, didn't it?
And normally you don't get a swing at that pitch until you get to 2 strikes, if at all.
Got him looking. Strike 3. And the Brewers retired in order in the top half of the 4th inning.
Blake Lally, the hometown boy, comes back here to play at PNC Park. I'm joined by his parents, Father John, Mother Audrey. Audrey, we'll start with you. Belated Happy Mother's Day to you, first of all. Second of all, he played here last year. It's not his first time playing at PNC Park, but what's the experience like just having your family and friends and watching your son play a big league ball game in Pittsburgh?
It's very exciting. He loves being back here, and he loves his family being around him, and everyone's been with him through all his years, so it's wonderful.
About 20 people here made the trip, hanging out here behind the Brewers dugout. And Father John, when you look back at the high school days, Neil Walker and Blake Lally, high school teammates, what do you remember about those guys in their 1 year they played together at Pine Richland?
Well, Blake was older than he was. Blake was a senior, and Neil was a freshman. And but Neil really wasn't a freshman. I mean, he played like a senior, and it was tremendous to see that kind of talent. And Pine Richland has always done well since then. I mean, they have an excellent program. Yeah.
It was a very nice standard they set. Now, Mom, I know it's been unfortunate. He struck out twice tonight. But what are the nerves like? Are they any different than when he was younger, watching him bat now?
This is much harder, yes.
What about it is harder?
More is on the line. I mean, this is his career, and you want him to do really well. So
we're hoping he does well as well. Thank you very much, John and Audrey Lally. So, Tim, what a nice day for the Lally family being able to hang out here at PNC Park and watch Blake play.
That's right. From Gibsonia.
Certainly going to be a very proud parents watching their son back here at PNC Park. It's a tremendous thrill, I know, to play in your hometown. But for the parents to come and watch in this setting, it's got to be pretty awesome.
1-1 to McCutchen. Well, the closest for you, obviously, was Dodger Stadium. And that was that must have been just such a thrill the first time you set foot on that field.
Oh, yeah.
I know you grew up an Angel fan.
I bet I've been in Dodger Stadium probably 50, 60 times in my life. And it was a special feeling, special event. You do have those friends, you have the family, the parents. It's kind of a hard thing to even describe, the emotions that you go through those first couple of times. And sometimes it's tough, like, Neil Walker, I wonder about, it's got to be difficult to have your home team.
Oh, what a snag by Aramis Ramirez.
He's off the bag.
And he's called out anyway.
Thought he was off the bag. Maybe not. I think I might have saw it with my heart, not my eyes, I guess. I don't know. Clint's going out there.
Dave Joust disagreeing with Fielding Culbreth. The last thing Culbreth wants is an argument or any controversy of any kind. He was suspended 2 games recently by Major League Baseball for his role in a game between the Angels and Astros. The pitching change that was in question that Bo Porter had pulled off, and he misread a rule, and Fielding Culbreth let him get away with it, and he paid the price. They sit out a few games. It's a little upset.
Well, we're going to look at it here in a moment and see what we see. But at first, as I'm watching this right now, I think he's off the bat in live action. And he might have had his toenail on there. That was a heck of an effort by Lally.
Well, if he didn't cut his toenails today, he probably had one on there.
That was a really fine play. And of course, McCutchen, he always goes down the line hard like that.
1-0 pitch to Sanchez, drilled foul down the left side.
Just before McCutchen hit that ball, I wanted to finish up a thought I had about Neil Walker. He plays every single night in his hometown home ballpark. That has a whole different set of challenges and feelings and emotions, I'm sure, for Neil. It's not like you're traveling someplace, 2 or 3 games and out. He's got things that to deal with that most players don't on a nightly basis. Like his first year as a rookie, he still stayed in his old bedroom.
His parents' house.
His parents' house. I mean,
well, he knew.
How often do you hear about a major leaguer doing that?
He knew the cooking was going to be good, food would be good, and the laundry'd probably get done if he asked nicely. And strike 2 to Sanchez. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bases empty. A 1-0 Milwaukee lead in the fourth. Marco Estrada's off to a very good start tonight. He has given up a home run in every game he's pitched, including 3 to the Pirates in his outing against them at the end of April. He's given up a total of 11 home runs this year. This will be the 62nd pitch coming up. Payoff pitch to Gabby. We'll get another one. So 7 straight starts giving up a home run. That is the longest active streak. Ryan Vogelsong of San Francisco and Barry Enright of Arizona and the Angels in 2011 also have given up 6 straight. That's up high, ball 4, and the Bucs with a base runner and 2 men out. Keep in mind, Estrada had a problem with the walks his last outing on the 5th of May, walking 5 St. Louis Cardinals. Here comes Walker. Against the Cardinals, just got into the 4th inning. Walked 5, struck out 5, gave up 8 earned runs.
Yeah, 6 hits to go with those 5 walks. What a good game.
Walker's 0 for 1, fly to left field in the second. And another count to Walker. Had his rehab assignments in Altoona, and one of them rained out and ended up playing 9 innings there yesterday. And Neal hits this one well to center field. Going back is Gomez, and he is on the warning track to make the catch. Walker 0 for 2. We'll head to the 5th. Milwaukee 1, Pirates 0.
Is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucs.
Here's our day automotive this day in Pirates history. This date, 1989. Bob Walk went 2 for 4 at the plate and drove in 3 runs as the Pirates beat his old team, the Braves, 8-3. And on the mound, Bob cruised through 7 innings. But in the 8th, the Bobby Bonilla error and a walk set up a Lonnie Smith 3-run home run, which chased him from the game. First time for everything, Bob.
Yeah.
Day automotive, we're going to make your day.
Ban the DH.
Lonnie Smith didn't make your day, but you still ended up getting 3 RBIs out of it.
Never got Lonnie up. Like I said, ban the DH. All right. Thanks for coming up with that, Gypsies.
Yes, sir.
It's always nice, little something from the past.
Yeah. Just in case he forgot, just to sort of remind him once in a while of things.
People don't realize for one of those good days, there was about 3 bad days. They're hard to find.
Here's the sign that is always outside the booth here. This one ripped down the right field line.
Get foul.
Is fair. Snyder guns it to second base, and Logan Schaefer beats it for a double. Well, he had a bullet just inside that foul line, 320 feet away from the plate.
Hit so hard he didn't want to hook. Oh, definitely smacked off the padding fair. I was talking to it. I didn't hear you.
I was waiting to listen to you.
You got to help them. You got to yell, get foul, hook, something. They will listen if you're like nice to them.
Is that right?
Yep.
The corners are in. Estrada takes outside. First double of the year for Logan Schaefer, by the way.
What's Bob Uecker say in home runs? Get up, get up, get up, get out of there. He's talking to him. He wants him to get over the fence. When you're standing in the middle of the diamond and you've just thrown a bullet somewhere, you learn to talk to the baseball.
Sanchez for Walker covering. Estrada sacrifices a man to third. Yeah, but for Bob Uecker, the ball talks back to him sometimes. So.
Well, they will. After a while, that happens. Definitely. I thought Saturday night, I thought a baseball was talking back to me.
Yeah, you were at your son's wedding.
Well, that was earlier in the day.
Oh. You're talking about during the reception? That's when the ball was talking to you? Okay. That wouldn't surprise me. John and I were on the road. John Wayne and I were sitting there wondering how the reception was.
It was great. It really was.
Infield is in for Aoki. 1 out, runner at third. And that is a strike called.
And I've had a lot of congratulations today from everybody, fans all over the place. It was really nice. I would like to put my thanks out there for everyone.
0-1 pitch. Aoki watches this one and it gets away from McHenry a little bit.
I'd like to publicly thank the Pirates and especially Steve Blass for giving me the opportunity to stay home for 4 days.
Well, Steve now knows how tiring it is on the road. He was passed out after every game.
Good stop by the Fort. Get that curve ball back. Just a little bit behind the plate. Was able to get a lot of leather on it. What do they call that? Is it the 5-hole?
In hockey.
Yeah.
That is a fair ball, and it's down in the corner. And it's 2-0 Brewers. Now, that ball may have jumped over the base fair. It'll be interesting to get another look at this one. But Schaefer scores. Aoki gets the RBI, his 9th. And it's a 2-0 Brewer lead. And this one's real close.
And New York one went right off the base, right?
That's right.
Pirates getting a break. That time missed the base, got down the line.
It might have caught part of the outside of the base, the plane of it going straight up, but they didn't get much base. It got enough.
Aoki really likes to work the lines, doesn't he? He went to left field line for a double, line drive to first, second time up, and now right over the bag.
Well, yesterday, I heard Tom Singer from MLB.com call this the immaculate deflection. Boom. Right off the front of the base. Inge is there. And how about Melancon? Players just never gave up on the play. And when, Bob, I ask you, when have you ever seen a ball hit the base and the hitter be out?
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Almost never.
Heading to third is Aoki, and he is safe. Sliding under the tag of Alvarez. The throw from McHenry high. And the Brewers just taking liberties on the bases tonight.
Now, this is a big steal. With one out, that's when it's important for a base runner to try and get himself to third. And there's that high throw. If it would have been a lower throw, they would have had a shot. Long way to bring the baseball. Still almost got him. That was a close play. You can see by the AGH cam. It's always a tough throw by the catcher because he's having to throw it over the hitter. You're making that toss. Try to get behind him if you can.
Aoki coming to the plate, and he's going to be safe. The ball got away from McHenry on the collision. And it's 3-0 Milwaukee. And the Brewers are finding all kinds of ways to get runs.
And not the usual way. A lot of times we play the Brewers, it's all about home runs. Not happened. Here it is again. The ball just tapped out there. Aoki, a really good break on the swing, but I think he was blocked off the plate. If the Ford holds on to this, does he touch the plate?
No, maybe on the side.
He might have. It was awfully close.
And Aoki went back just to make sure.
Yeah, well, he wasn't sure at all that he had got it. I think I saw a safe sign. Is there? I don't see it yet. But he went back, even though I'm pretty sure that Adrian Johnson called him safe after the ball was dropped.
So a base hit for Segura. He now has 3 hits.
Back for that second time.
Well, Segura a threat to run. Stole a base in the first inning. And there he goes again. The pitch out. McHenry's throw goes into center field. Another stolen base for the Brewers, and this is something that we have not seen all year. The Pirates pitchers have been doing a very good job holding the runners, much better than a year ago. And A.J. Burnett, we know he's slow to the plate, and runners will take off against him, but no team has run on the Pirates like the Brewers are tonight.
Yeah, that was state the obvious, a horrible throw by McHenry. Absolutely horrible. I'm sure he's embarrassed right now making that kind of a throw on a pitch out.
Well, the last time a team stole 5 bases against the Pirates in a game last year, when the Brewers stole 7 on September 18th here at PNC Park.
Now, there's only 1 out. Segura may take third if give him a chance.
A.J. allowed only 7 stolen bases against him this year prior to tonight, and the Brewers have taken 5 and Segura 3. Nothing Milwaukee. The running game has had something to do with that tonight. And the way Estrada's pitching, Pirates need to find a way to get to him. Barnes with a nice play in the hole, and Gabby with a tag on the back. Gomez is out. Nice play.
Kind of a Bronx cheer, I think, for the call over at first base. Throw was wide. There's the tag. Made plenty of time.
Look, you actually got him on the arm. Yeah, got him on the arm on the way by. Tough week for Field and Culbreth. He's had 2 arguments over there tonight. First day back after his suspension.
It looks like, though, he's made all the calls.
Yeah.
I mean, we've looked at the replays. I can't argue with any of them. That one where, I thought when I first saw it live that Lolly come off the base, but then we saw the replay. It looked, close enough to where you can understand why the out call was made. There was another call on a pickoff where I thought AJ had an out, but the replay showed that no.
That was Gomez.
Yeah, he got back. I'm always amazed how many times I think the umpire has missed a play or something, and then we look at it and they're right. Not always. We do find some that aren't, but most of the time they got it correct.
Two balls and a strike to Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the first, and then McCutchen ran one down deep in the right center field alley. Up against the wall, made the catch, and retired Ramirez in the 3rd inning. Ground ball to Barmes. And that'll do it. The 2 runs come in as the Brewers are running around the bases tonight. It's a 3-0 lead for Milwaukee. For iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10, At Bat delivers Pirates baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Pirates.com for details. Pedro leading off against Estrada. Takes ball 1. Well, Estrada got the better of Pedro in his first at bat, struck him out on 3 pitches in the 2nd inning. Pedro coming off a very good series in New York against the Mets. Looks at ball 2. I'll see the Pirates can't put together an inning here pretty soon, Bob. Falling a little farther behind. The stolen base, a big part of Milwaukee's game tonight. 5 of them.
Now, 3 runs is not, that big of a deal. Get a couple guys on, somebody gets into 1. But the halfway point. You're right. Got to do something soon. You don't want to put it off too long.
And Pedro couldn't hold up. That's strike 2 and 2.
Although that has kind of been a little bit of a Pirate specialty early here in the season, is beating the other team's bullpen. It's happened several times this year.
Milwaukee's bullpen has been struggling. And Pedro down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. 5 strikeouts for Estrada.
You won't want to watch that at bat. That last fastball just right down Broadway. Perfect pitch to hit. Swung right through it. That's what you say, right down Forbes.
Forbes, yeah, there you go. Down the Boulevard of the Allies. Well, McHenry up there, he struck out also. But Estrada looks like he really has his mental game focused. Over his last 2 starts, he gave up 13 earned runs and 4 home runs. And tonight, he really has settled down. You know how the hat's off to the side? Normally, you see lefties do that. For some reason, lefties often have their brim cocked off to the side a little bit. So he's got that going for the righty. Segura gets a good hop. 2 men out for the Pirates in the 5th. Pirates are 8-2 in night games at home this year. They've won 4 straight night games at home. 3 in a row overall, 6 of the last 10. Barmes had a hand on the win yesterday with a home run off of Matt Harvey of the Mets. And boy, that kid's going to be something else. Pirates were able to get to him enough, then got into the Mets bullpen and beat them yesterday.
Barmes, 2 home runs off 2 phenoms.
Harvey of the Mets and Strasburg of the Nationals. That was his first homer this year here. 1 for 1 tonight is Clint, and he bounces this one foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hitting .389 over his last 13 games, 14 out of 36. Out in front. Right now his average up to .227. And last year, the first 2 months of the season for Barmes, he didn't approach .227. Having a much better month of May in 2013 than he did in 2012. Certainly will take the production from your number 8 guy in the order. Full count.
The UPMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone show that ball about 3 inches outside.
Payoff pitch hit in the air to right field. Aoki drifts over a little to his glove side and makes the catch. And the Pirates gone in order. We'll go to the 6th at PNC Park. It's a 3-0 Brewer lead. In the lower 50s. Charlie Morton got the hood on tonight in a sweatshirt. He continues his road back. He's a subject of our AGH Sports Medicine injury update through a bullpen session today. Between 40 and 45 pitches, said he felt good. Next step for him will be a start in Altoona Thursday. Expected to go 4 innings or 65 pitches. Injury update brought to you by Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. The right-hander was on track, but had some difficulty with the right shoulder. Remember, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. And every time you talk to Charlie, how you doing? Great. Things are good. So it's like he's getting closer to returning to the starting rotation. Yuniesky Betancourt will take a strike from AJ. 3 runs on 7 hits for the Brewers. No runs on 1 hit for the Pirates. That 1 hit, Clint Barmes, a base hit up the middle in the 3rd inning. Inside to Betancourt. Also, Jeff Karstens pitched tonight on a rehab stint in Single-A Bradenton. Went 3 innings, gave up an earned run on 4 hits, struck out 4, didn't walk anybody. Karstens another guy, don't forget about him. Slowly hit ground ball to Barmes. He charges and throws out Betancourt. 1 away.
Seen a couple times tonight where guys have been sitting on that curveball. We're very not sitting on it, but very concerned about it. And been way late with their swing and had the bat just chopped off in their hands. Betancourt with that last ball, the latest.
Pitch inside to Lucroy. Lucroy's flying to right field twice.
Well, you mentioned this earlier that now's a good time to talk about it. AJ just not getting any run support to this point. Again tonight, Pirates no runs on just 1 hit while he was on the mound.
Barmes has been busy over there. 2 men out. He has made the last 4 infield assists. The last 4 Brewers have all grounded out to short. Six infield assists for Barmes tonight.
And the ground ball is helping that pitch count. Well, it was the 3rd inning, and AJ was already into the 50s.
Oh, remember,
so now he's about to get done with 6, and he'll be at less than 90. Should be able to, let's hope.
27 pitches in the 1st inning alone. Things have settled down for Burnett. He has given up 3 doubles in the game. That's been part of it.
He leads off next inning, though. So might not get 7 innings out of him. Probably go to a pinch hitter down 3 runs. He does lead off next inning.
He does.
Yeah, I think they'll go to a pinch hitter. 3-0 score.
1 ball and 1 strike to Blake Lally. It's 1-2. Some nachos on the dugout. A souvenir with a baseball. Here, take it back. Gotta watch the game when you sit right there.
Boy.
That's a great seat. Not a lot of people get to rest their chin on the dugout. Ball and 2 strikes. Blake Lally makes his home in North Carolina now after going up in Gibsonia. Stays 1-2. Hitting 136. With the Cubs last year. playing first base tonight, but a catcher. And one of 3 catchers that Ron Roenicke can go to at any time, along with Lucroy and Maldonado. Broke the bat, and his former high school teammate throws him out. 1-2-3. Go the Brewers in the 6th. Astros at 135. All kids 14 and younger receive an A.J. Burnett replica camo jersey thanks to Chevrolet. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after. Kids get to run the bases. For tickets, visit Pirates.com. It's a replica jersey of the same camo jersey the team will be wearing for Armed Forces Day. A neat-looking shot of the moon. Sea of tranquility up there somewhere.
And A.J. is hitting. He's leading off the inning. I was wrong.
Burnett on 6. Struck out 5.
No walks tonight. Good control.
Estrada is behind on him, 2-0. Burnett put down a good sacrifice in the 3rd inning. Take a strike there. 2 balls, 1 strike for A.J. Glenn Hurdle sticking with a veteran starter here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 to Burnett. Ray Searage making a call out to the bullpen.
I don't think he's talking to the bullpen.
No. Well, Bettencourt fumbled it, but recovered and throws out A.J.
There's nobody in the bullpen talking on the phone.
Maybe he's just faking it for TV.
Could be.
Yeah, that's right. Euclides Rojas sitting next to the phone out in the bullpen. Nobody there. So. Do you think Starling Marte is a good candidate for the All-Star game this year?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, might have a shot at starting. Well as he is playing, it keeps going the way he is. Setting the table, and not only setting the table, but he's got 17 RBIs, 5 home runs.
Leads the league in hits.
He's playing great defense. I mean, he's hopefully just another Andrew McCutchen. It's only been 6 weeks into the season, but this is what we've talked about. How he can play, the tools that he has, and he's playing up to those capabilities. At least for the first 6 weeks of the season.
McCutchen, a 2-time All-Star, expects to be a perennial All-Star.
Looks like Estrada might have got a call here. That ball just right on the edge, maybe off the edge. He's going to call a strike.
So to right field, right to Marichka Aoki. 2 men out. Well, Marco Estrada's not been challenged tonight. He has given up just 1 hit through 5 2/3 innings.
Not a lot of offense. Not any offense. As you said, the 1 hit at the Barmas, right?
Barmas in the 3rd inning. Pirates have only had 2 base runners in the game. Gabby Sanchez was walked in the 4th. Travis Snider has struck out looking twice. Snider had a pair of hits yesterday against the Mets. He was 2 out of 5. 1 ball, 1 strike. Batting average of .264 for the left-handed hitter. One ball and 2 strikes now to Snider. The Brewers will have 8, 9, and 1 due up in the top half of the 7th. We could use one of those here in the booth tonight.
Things look warm.
That's a fair ball. Over quickly to get it is Logan Schaefer, and he will hold Snider to a single.
Good defensive play. I mean, that's big with 2 outs. You're usually going to have the hitter maybe roll the dice, try and gamble, try to get into scoring position because there is 2 outs. So Schaefer not only able to get to this ball quickly, but make Snider, I know, change his mind. He's thinking double as he hit that ball.
And if the regular left fielder is out there, Ryan Braun, there's a better chance that Snider would have had a double. He does not run nearly as well as Schaefer, although he does run well. McCutchen hammers it. Left field, and at the track, it's Schaefer. Hit it right to the 383 mark. And the Pirates will strand a base runner. Ahead of the 7th, 3-0 Milwaukee. Charlie Marte, the big head.
Now let's just hope he doesn't get the big head.
All right. Well, you can follow us on Twitter at Root Sports Pit for team news, special giveaways, and behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite teams. Join the conversation with Robbie Inspikowski, Dan Potash, Rob King, and more on Twitter. And tell us how you root for your Buccos. Pretty looking night tonight. North Shore over the Allegheny, looking into downtown. Along with Bob Walker, I'm Tim Neverett, and our entire crew in the truck today. Logan Schaefer leading off, the left fielder. Ryan Braun out tonight. He's got a little neck and back thing going, but he was due a day off, and he gets a day off every once in a while. Gabby Sanchez just fumbled it. Just totally fumbled the ball, and Schaefer is aboard.
Hasn't been AJ's night.
An error on Gabby. Routine ground ball.
Just simple as can be. The last hop, the ball came up. Watch, he hits his bare hand. Ball came up a little bit further than he thought, and it hit right on the tips of his fingers. And that's what messed everything up. It never got into the glove.
Well, instead of having one out and the bases empty and the pitcher up, now you've got a guy who can get another man in a scoring position with a sacrifice. Go to first, and it gets away. And goes into the seats, so that'll put Schaefer at second. Bad throw by Burnett.
Yeah, there's no chance you're going to make that catch. Just tried to be a little too quick. I think that is the result of all the steals. He's just trying to do too much, be too quick. And now a chance for Estrada. On a man to third, nobody out. You know, you think back on that situation, you know, the pitcher's up and he's going to be sacrifice bunting. Not really much call for a real, good pickoff move. I think if AJ rethought that, he would just go ahead and throw the ball home. It wasn't a steal situation. Not that, I'm not saying that nobody ever runs in that situation, but most of the time it's just a sacrifice bunt. So why give your best pickoff throw and risk throwing the ball away? Now a sacrifice bunt moves that runner over to third base with just one out.
Melanson.
He's
a shadow pitcher.
Yeah, he does that a lot. The same with the jacket on, and just it's like his way of getting loose.
If he's really warming up, he'll have the sweatshirt off. Doing some shadow work there.
And he'll have a baseball in his hand too. He actually throws the ball.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's part of getting loose. He's actually throwing the baseball. 60 feet 6 inches. There'll be a catcher down there on the other end too, throwing it back to him.
Well, sometimes they make him throw it off the wall.
There goes the runner. And a foul ball. He strikes out. So Estrada's out.
Is that a foul ball or not?
That was a foul ball. So why is he at third?
Let's watch the replay. I'm confused.
Sometimes we need the replay to tell us the story.
There's the pitch. There's the bunt. No, it wasn't a foul ball. Fair ball. Picked it on the plate. Fair ball.
Okay.
Not a strikeout. Look at that ball hit a soft spot and just stayed right
on
there.
The plate. That's a
now,
fair ball.
if the ball rolls back off the plate, it's a strikeout. But it was picked up on the plate.
Okay.
So
that's two unassisted.
Again, if you had a mulligan, if you had a do-over, you let that one roll.
Then you'd have the out anyway.
There's no reason to pick it up because if it rolls foul, he struck out, and the runner has to go back.
That's right.
Well, that was a little bit of a mental error. Should have let that ball go. No reason to pick it up. Yeah, I definitely thought it was a foul ball. Yeah, but that certainly explains why the runner did not have to go back.
And a play by Burnett. And this is just getting ugly here in the Bottom, or the top of the 7th.
Just every little thing tonight. I mean, going back to the previous play where the ball is about to roll off into foul territory and it was picked up. There's a lot of little mistakes. Like Aoki was going to beat that out anyway, even though the ball hit him in the back.
Surge coming out to try to settle things down.
And now there is somebody with a baseball warming up in the bullpen.
Vin Mazzaro. So Aoki on base again. Schaefer scores. 4-0 Milwaukee. And when you play Milwaukee, you mentioned it earlier, Bob, they usually hit the ball out of the ballpark to score 4 runs. They don't score this many runs normally.
We're not exactly playing the best baseball here.
No,
we're helping them along tonight.
After the weekend we just saw in New York, the Pirates played very good baseball, and tonight it's not that way.
We're not controlling the running game. They're stealing all over the place, not playing great defense. A couple of iffy decisions. You know, that picking that ball up off the plate. I don't want to run it into the ground, but why? Just let it keep rolling and be a strikeout.
So another error. I've got 2 up on the scoreboard, but should be 3. 2 errors on A.J. Burnett this inning.
He's into 100 pitches now.
This one's well hit to center field by Segura.
Aoki tagging and force a throw.
That's the first out. Second out after the sacrifice by Estrada.
There, I mentioned he's into 100 pitches now, but very good control. Look at 70%. That's an easy math problem. I can even do that one.
Nice.
70% strikes.
That's good.
Rock would be proud of me. Wouldn't he?
Yeah, you had 4 days off. Did you study?
Yeah.
Work on your math skills?
The math. I got one of the kids' old textbooks. Practiced.
And Aoki running. McHenry throws. And that is the 6th stolen base.
So you could have made a pretty good wager that Aoki was going to steal there with 2 outs. He's going to take off.
Tough behind the plate tonight for Michael McHenry. Strike 2 to Carlos Gomez. Aoki with the steal is second. He does get credit for an RBI on that play. Has scored Logan Schaefer. Even though the play was ruled an error on the throw by Burnett, would have got the run home anyway. Right there, strike 3 call. Now the run comes in. 3 errors in the inning. We've reached stretch time at PNC Park, middle of the 7th. Brewers with a 4-0 lead.
7th inning stretch. We invite you now to stand, follow the bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Just 2 hits for the Pirates tonight off of right-hander Marco Estrada. Gabby Sanchez hits one down toward the left field corner. Schaefer over there, and he's going to watch it go foul. Made it in the seats. Sanchez walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1.
Getting foul balls tonight, I think the best thing to do is let it stop rolling. Wish you have some good heavy gloves on. I wouldn't want to try and barehand one tonight. A little too cool for that. Just got my fresh cup of coffee. I think I'm using it more for a hand warmer than anything else.
It's kind of a cold year so far.
This is the last little shot right here. We're going to have upper 70s Wednesday.
Beautiful. Sanchez to right. Aoki's going to watch it go off the running track and off the wall, and Sanchez has a double, his 5th of the season, a leadoff double, and now the Bucks are in business in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, the bullpen for the Brewers was busy before Estrada threw his first pitch this inning, so it just makes you think he's going to be on a short leash here, even though he's working on a 3-hit shutout. Hit well. Estrada shaking his head. Still thinking about that last pitch he made, which really is something you need not to do. You got to be able to turn the page quick, especially when you have a 4-run lead late like this. You can't let that leadoff hit really bother you. You got to ignore it. That's not what might beat you. It's the guys coming up next.
Sanchez at second. Walker with an 0-1 count.
There's still plenty of time in this game. I know you're down by 4, but hopefully get a couple out of this inning. Cut that lead in half.
Walker to right field. Aoki broke in, now breaks back.
Should get Gabby over.
Gabby's going to head for third base. He is there. So Walker flies out, but gets the runner over a station. With 1 out, Pedro Alvarez at the plate, trying to get Gabby in. Pedro struck out twice. Brandon Kintzler loosening up for Milwaukee. Now to get the run in. Pedro with an RBI gets the Pirates on the board. It's 4-1.
A leadoff double, get him in. Or excuse me, get him over, then get him in. I know it's just 1 run, but we got to get up off the floor and try to get something going. Gabby able to get the ball rolling a little bit. Let's hope something continues now. They're happy. The guy with the M on his chest back there.
He's just trying to steal the Pirate fans' heat, that's all.
Get him away from the fire. Oh, you're from Wisconsin. They're used to cold weather. Doesn't need to be standing there.
Up in the air to right. And Aoki settle under it. Pirates do get a run on a hit. Nobody left, and through 7 full, Pirates now trailing by 3 runs, 4-1.
authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Here's a look at the road ahead for the Pirates, brought to you by Nissan. The rest of the series looks like this tomorrow. Kyle Loesch going for the Brewers against Jeff Locke, Giovanni Gallardo, and Wandy Rodriguez Wednesday. And then the Thursday night game, Hiram Burgos against Francisco Liriano as he'll make his home debut. And Liriano was very, very good in his debut overall in New York. Pretty good place to be tonight.
Yeah,
otherwise your bow tie bar.
It's a nice place. Get the nice little, what do you call those things with the fire? Do they have a name?
Heater.
Okay, I think that's a little generic.
I don't know if there's.
There has to be some kind of a term that describes it. They're very cool looking. I would like to have one of those for the backyard.
Yeah.
They're called fire tubes.
Fire tubes.
Fire tubes.
Where do you procure a fire tube, one might ask?
I saw one the other day. There's a hardware store in Ambridge. So we've had them.
Ramos Ramirez behind Jose Contreras. Contreras taking over for Burnett to start the 8th inning. Contreras pitch. And a chopper to third. Pedro waits for the good hop. There is one out. Well, Ramirez doesn't get down the line very well. Not like he had in the past. Coming off the disabled list with a knee issue, but at the same time, just getting down to first. So there's Yuniesky Betancourt. Face Jose Contreras.
Betancourt got off to a very quick start with the Brewers. A lot of home runs after getting released out of spring training. What was it, the Phillies? Caught him?
Yeah.
Brewers picked him up and tore things up in April.
Burnett on the hook here tonight. Goes 7.
Very useful on defense, too. He was able to give him some good work at third base when Ramirez was on the DL.
Right. To the right side. Sanchez toss to Contreras. 2 men out. Jonathan Lucroy coming up. Lucroy's 0 for 3. Flying out twice and grounded out once.
And dropped down a little bit in the batting order from when we saw him in Milwaukee.
He was hitting cleanup there. Hitting in the 6th spot. Now that Ramirez is back, Ramirez goes in that cleanup spot, but gives him a little bit more depth in terms of production. Lucroy with 16 RBIs. Betancourt batting in the 5th spot with 24. And Ramirez trying to do his catch-up work with 6 after missing 23 games. But when you have a track record, teams know what you can do. And Ramirez has been a solid run producer his entire career. Ball and 1 strike.
Ramirez probably has another couple decent years in him. If you look at his lifetime numbers, they stack up pretty good with a lot of third basemen.
Ball and 2 strikes to Lucroy. Nice play by Contreras. And he comes up with a clean inning of relief, helped out by a pretty good Gabby Sanchez pick over there. 3 up, 3 down for the Brewers in the 8th. Football days at Pine Richland on our next Sunday Night Classics. See Walker and his Rams battle the Hopewell Vikings in the 2002 Whitfield Finals with exclusive interviews from Neil, Paul Posluszny, Matt Fontana, Craig Bocor, Claire Altimus, and Kevin McCabe. It's on Sunday Night Classics. Future Phenoms on the field. Sunday at 8 on Root Sports. Look at them go.
As blessed as I am to get to where I am here today and to be able to play not just Major League Baseball but in my hometown, there are some things that I remember from football better than I remember from the minor leagues or even from early on in my Major League career. So I guess it does show you how much Western Pennsylvania football meant to me.
And Neil was recruited to play football at Penn State and Pitt and a few other schools. I believe he told me Penn State wanted him to play tight end. That would have meant putting on quite a few pounds.
He's a very, very good baseball player. I think he made the right decision, don't you?
I think so. It's all worked out for him.
I'm not sure that the NFL was in his future, so if you're going to have a career in one or the other, he definitely had it going in baseball, and still does.
New pitcher takes over for the Brewers in the 8th inning, Brandon Kintzler. So Marco Estrada leaves pitcher of record to the good. Jeff Bianchi takes over third base for Ramirez. Ramirez done for the night. And a base hit by Barmes. He's got another multi-hit game. Pirates start the 8th inning against the Milwaukee bullpen with a base hit. Barmes has had 3 straight multi-hit games.
Got a breaking ball. It just got it off the end of the bat. He was a little too quick with the swing. Just enough to get it out there. Landed on the green grass. But it sat nicely. It would have held the green.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter. It's a base hit. That leadoff hitter, when you're so important to get him on when you're trying to make a comeback. Pirates down by 3, trying to build an inning.
Tamada pinch hit it. Here's a little streak maybe that folks aren't talking about. I know the Brewers folks aren't too happy. They've had 12 straight games where they have allowed 3 or more runs. You might say, what's the significance of that? Well, the Tampa Bay Rays have the longest active streak. They've got 15 straight games where they have allowed 3 or more runs. That's the most in baseball. The Brewers, second most, with a dozen straight. The Pirates have scored at least 3 runs in their last 4 games straight against the Brewers. And a little number up the first base side. Tamada will be tagged out. And Barmes safely at second base.
It helped out both clubs. Pirates able to get a runner to scoring position, and since it's not the 8th inning, or not the 9th inning, it's the 8th inning, I look at that as significant. And if you're a Brewer, you're looking out there thinking, okay, we'll trade you that 90 for an out because we got a 3-run lead. Both teams kind of looking at the silver lining of that play.
Marte. That's almost in the same area where Tamada did. Let's just strike 1 to Marte.
Kind of like last inning, you want to do a lot. You want to have that big inning. You want to put up a crooked number, but at the same time, anything you can sneak out of it is better than nothing. So you don't have a big mountain to have to climb in the 9th. Try to cut it down. Even getting just Barmes home here be important.
Kintzler's pitch. And Marte hits it to the left side. And Segura low on the throw. And out is Marte.
Nice pick by Pine Richland.
Blake Lally saved that play for the Brewers on a very low throw by Gene Segura, the shortstop.
He doesn't come up with this one. You score a run, and you have a runner in scoring position. Very nice pick. That wasn't all that easy. That ball didn't bounce just right in front of the glove either. Yeah, that was out there a ways. That was a tough one.
Snyder takes the ball.
Barma scores. Marte's on second. There's just one out. Huge play by the Ram.
Backhanded play by Bianchi. And another good play by Lally at first base. And the Pirates strand Barmas on to the ninth. It's a 4-1 Brewer lead.
Tomorrow is our guest on Root Sports for Twitter Tuesday. So fans, take out your Twitter client and fire away with the questions. Use the hashtag BucksTuesday. Any question you have for Garrett Jones, we're going to select a few and put them on the airways. We'll run some in our Pirates pregame show, and we'll also answer a few during the ballgame tomorrow night. So again, Twitter Tuesday on Root Sports Pit. That's our Twitter hashtag, Twitter username, Root Sports Pit. Bucks Tuesday is the hashtag. Any question you have doesn't have to be related to baseball. It can be anything that's on your mind that you might want to know from Garrett Jones. We'll take him and we'll fire him his way. So send him in early and send him in often. Tim?
All right. Why don't you ask him what his nickname was as a kid? Nickname as a kid. See if somebody can come up with that. Jose Tabata stays in the game at right field. And Tony Watson comes in. He'll be inserted into the number 2 spot in the order where Snyder just was. Watson will start the 9th inning. Pirates trailing 4-1. Watson will face Alex Gonzalez, who will hit for Lally. Gonzalez, a shortstop by trade, but he plays all over the infield, including first base. The 0-1. Ball and 1 strike. Now for the Pirates in the bottom of the 9th, McCutchen will lead off, then Gabby Sanchez and Neil Walker. Ways to go to get there, though, is Watson trying to get Gonzalez out. Falls behind him, 2-1. Speaking of falling behind, the Mets have fallen behind St. Louis tonight. St. Louis fell to Colorado in their series finale Sunday. And are ahead in the series opener against the Mets now, 6-3 in the 7th. And a ground ball up the middle and a base hit. Leadoff single for Gonzalez.
The Brewer pitching has been so poor here in May. They're really struggling getting outs. They're probably, even with a 3-run lead and waiting to go, not real comfortable with it. Would like to get an insurance run, one more. See what they do with Schaefer. They maybe hit and run, something like that, to move the runners. They've been having such a good, well, they've kind of sacrifice with it. That's what they're going to do.
Ryan Braun has picked up a bat. He's in the on-deck circle. Braun was primarily given the night off to get a little bit of rest. And Jim Henderson, the closer, loosening up. 0-1 pitch. And the bunt put right out in front of the plate. McHenry goes down to Sanchez for the out. Over to second base safely is Gonzalez. And here is Ryan Braun as a decoy. Ricky Weeks will come out instead. Ricky Weeks, another one of the Brewers regulars, not in the lineup tonight. He's been struggling a lot at the plate. Weeks with a 183 average. 23 hits and 126 at bats. And one thing about Weeks is he is always going to be up there in strikeouts. He's got 41 strikeouts. He is among the league leaders in that category.
You can live with a lot of strikeouts if you're getting some kind of power numbers. But you look at his run production numbers. I mean, still in single digits in RBIs with 9. Only has 2 home runs. The strikeouts are even more meaningful when he's not getting the ball over the fence and not driving in runners with those home runs and extra base hits. Especially playing in his home ballpark, where, as we painfully know, the ball jumps out of there. Definitely, you can say he is scuffling.
Strike to Weeks. I think Weeks would stay in the game, play second in the bottom of the 9th, and Betancourt move over to third with Bianchi out. Bianchi came in to play defense, never got in the bat. One ball, 1 strike to Weeks. And the pitch coming. Weeks will take a strike.
Nice fastball on the inside corner. That is really the strength that Tony has. Loves going inside to the right-handers. Loves throwing the fastball right there.
Just a correction on that. Bianchi went in for Ramirez. Thought that the pitcher was inserted into that spot. Bianchi in the 9th spot, but that wasn't the case. It was a straight change. Weeks hitting for the reliever. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Watson calls that fastball a glove side fastball extension. That's his bread and butter.
What's another name for that?
Fastball in.
That's right.
That's kind of old school saying fastball in.
And down on strikes for the 42nd time this year is Ricky Weeks. Leake strikes out as a pinch hitter. Now back to the top of the order, Norichika Aoki. 2 men out for the Brewers in the top half of the 9th.
He saw nothing but fastballs, didn't he? Ball upstairs. He is really struggling. He's going to have to be shaking his head right now, thinking nothing but straight stuff. Went down swinging.
Looked late on it.
Way late.
The runner at second base is Gonzalez. Here's the pitch to Aoki. Outside, ball 1. Aoki has 2 doubles tonight. He's reached on there. Driven in a couple of runs. One and 0 to Aoki. 294. He's a guy who's got a lot of bat control. He can hit the ball to all parts of the field.
If you added up every ball he's put in play today, that'd be about 7 feet fair.
And this one, a wild pitch. And that moves Gonzalez down to third base.
The first pitch was way out there and almost got by. In fact, I thought it kind of hit McHenry in the foot.
Runner at third with 2 out. 2 ball, no strike count to Aoki. And Tony Watson trying to get the Bucks to the bat rack in the bottom of the 9th. Take their chances against Henderson, the closer. Two and 1. Aoki had a lot of successful seasons in Japan. The Colt Swallows in Tokyo. Fouls this one off.
Having the left-hander on the mound, it looks to me like he is back to try and hit a ball down that third base line. One back. The very first hit he got tonight, where he slapped the ball just fair down the left field line. That's what he's trying to do again. Big hole on that side. You can see a lot of room in that shortstop hole.
So he's trying to go down that left side again. And he's the only player in Japanese history, Japanese league history, to have 2 200-hit seasons. He's won their version of the Silver Slugger. He's won 6 Gold Gloves, perennial All-Star there. 2-2 pitch. And this one slapped down to third. Pedro. Low throw, and Gabby can't control it. And it is now 5-1 Milwaukee as Gonzalez scores.
Should be 4 errors now. This is a game that they just want to get over with, I think, now. This has been a bad night. They've really done almost nothing on offense, and the defense has been close to horrible tonight. And it's not even all about the errors. There's been some other things that didn't go as errors that you could look to and say, what is going on?
Well, Pedro tried to hurry the throw. He knew he needed to get it there quickly because the way that Aoki slaps the hit, he's almost all the way out of the batter's box and on his way down the line. So he gets out of there quickly and down the line very, very fast.
I'm sorry. They ruled that a single.
Really?
Well, I mean, that's a ground ball to third.
Yeah.
Right?
That was a ground ball to third.
Yeah.
Maybe the thought is that he got down the line too well. I don't know, but it's a base hit. But the throw should have been
good for Pedro, but not so so good for Tony, huh? He just got an earned run.
That's right.
Because of that ground ball.
Tomorrow night, Kyle Loesch against Jeff Locke. Loesch 1-4. That was a big offseason acquisition for the Brewers. Got him late in spring. And Jeff Locke will look for his 4th win. He's 3-1. Kyle Loesch watching, former Cardinal. He's preparing for his start tomorrow. Jeff Locke doing the same thing from the Pirate dugout. Two balls, one strike. Aoki gets back. Gene Segura, the hitter now, as he faces Tony Watson. Segura's had a 3-hit night. 370 batting average. Gomez came in leading the National League with a 371 average, and Segura is right behind him. So the Brewers have the top 2 average guys in the league. Starling Marte, 5th on the list, 329 average to start the night, right in between Yadier Molina, who's 4th, and Troy Tulowitzki of Colorado, who is just behind Marte. 2 ball, 2 strike offering from Tony. Cubs up on top of Tulowitzki's Rockies right now, 5-0 at Wrigley Field there in the bottom of the 6th inning. John Axford also warmed up, and not a safe situation now. So the Pirates more than likely to see Axford than Henderson. A little chilly. He borrowed her blanket.
I was going to say, Mother's Day was yesterday, wasn't it?
Payoff pitch.
That's what they used to wrap the bats with.
They'll have to keep them warm overnight. Heat them up again.
Everybody used pink bats yesterday?
A lot of them. Sometimes some use pink cleats, wristbands.
Bottom of the cleat. Good chance there. Oh, got a nice little cut in it.
That's what you look for as a pitcher when you get it back, right?
Yeah, I don't think that ever happens nowadays, because if the ball gets touched by something other than leather, they throw it out.
McCutchen gets underneath it. Andrew's going to lead off in the bottom of the 9th. Gabby Sanchez and Neil Walker to follow. Pirates trailing, heading into their final at bat. Friday night, 7:05. All fans take home a Pirates camo Jolly Roger t-shirt at the gates, courtesy of Root Sports. Get to Federal Street before the game for the first Budweiser block party of the season, featuring local live music and alumni appearances at the Budweiser Bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. That's a different looking kind of camo. And the McCutchen t-shirt.
That's
pretty
nice
popular.
one. I like that one a lot. That one, that might be one of the top 3 or 4 we've had, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, Henderson's going to be the guy called upon by Ron Renicky, the closer. 4-run lead for the Brewers, bottom of the 9th, and McCutchen, who is 0 for 3 tonight, standing in. Time for the rally caps around the ballpark. Yep, they got the memo. So did he. Well, I think I saw him come in like that. That's right at Schaefer. 1 out.
Gotta believe. Gotta believe.
Rally cap cam.
How about that for a giveaway one day? A cap that's already inside out. Huh? Rally cap
Always
night.
thinking, Bob.
Rally
Always thinking.
cap night.
Yep. Somebody's probably made a note of it. Didn't get it on the schedule. Sanchez down to third base. There's Bianchi. Scooped by Gonzalez, and the Bucs down to their final out.
No matter which way you put the cap on, it's inside out. Rally cap night.
Well, the score's inside out as far as the Pirates are concerned tonight. Jeff Locke tomorrow will try to even up this series as he opposes Kyle Loesch.
It's a cold night. Pirates had some cold bats.
Well, that's a rally cap of sorts. Comes with its own looking holes. No balls and 1 strike to Neil Walker. Walker is 0 for 3. He has flied out to all parts of the forest, left, center, and right. One ball, 1 strike to Walker. Looking forward to that Sunday Night Classics. Watch that game. Walker played in high school. A Whitfield title game. Two and 1. Here comes the pitch from Henderson. And Walker, even count, 2-2. Bucs down to their last strike. A cold night in May at PNC Park. The Brewers and Pirates playing game 1 of a 4-game series. Pirates dropped the opener to the Mets in the 4-game series at Citi Field. Came back, won the next 3. And in 4-game series this year, they have taken 3 of 4 from the Braves, 3 of 4 from the Phillies, and 3 of 4 from the Mets. And Walker strikes out, and the ball game's over. And the Brewers come in and take game 1. 5-1 the final score. And they ran around the bases. 6 stolen bases tonight. The Pirates committed 3 errors.
Well, you know what tonight is an example of how there is no momentum in baseball. Pirates coming in after a great 4-game long weekend in New York. Took those 3 games. They got their ace on the mound tonight and just played very poor, to be honest with you. Didn't hit, didn't play defense. Not a good ball game to start off a nice long homestand. But another thing about baseball, besides the fact there's no momentum, there's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. So, I expect to see Ryan Braun in the lineup tomorrow. He had the night off tonight. So a 5-1 win for Milwaukee in Game 1. Let's check in now with Rob King and Kent Jacoby.
Tim and Bob, thanks